Hit me.
From Studio P in Sausalito, the home of the hit, it's time for...
Succotash.
Yes, Succotash, the Comedy Soundcast Soundcast featuring snippets from comedy.
Soundcasts.
And also interviews with comedians, comedian soundcasters, and other showbiz folk. And now, here's your host, internationally recognized Comedy Soundcast Soundcaster, Marc Hershon.
Marc Hershon.
Howdy, friend, and welcome to Epi256 of Succotash, the Comedy Soundcast Soundcast, which I am entitling Playing Through A Foursome because I, Marc Hershon, have precisely 4 Comedy Soundcast clips for you in this show. More on those in a moment. Did you happen to catch last week's episode 255 of our little show? That's when your every other weekly alternating host Tyson Saner took you on a tour of a trio of comedy soundcasts, including Childlike At, Shut Up, I Love It, and Distractible. It's never too late to catch that or any past edition of Succotash. In addition to the fleet of distribution points like Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Radio, and more, you can always resort to our home site, soccotashshow.com. In fact, you can dip back into our storehouse of Succotash anytime you want at our website, where every episode is archived and available for listening. What's more, if you want to get to the home site of any of the shows we feature clips from, or find the socials of the hosts and guests on those shows, you can usually find links in the blog entry that accompanies every episode. Again, at soccotashshow.com. Now, I know that Tyson takes great pains to read those links out during his episodes, but I am the executive producer of Succotash, and I am, lazy. But those links are up for every episode, regardless of who's hosting. And as a blanket back announce for the clips you're hearing this episode, all are available on Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and pretty much everywhere else you can find soundcasts streaming and or downloadable. As for the foursome of awesome clips I'm sharing with you this week, I've got 3 from column A and 1 from column B. Column A in this case are clips from shows I harvested myself, which includes the Ron Burgundy Podcast, May I Elaborate with JB Smoove, and Comedy Has An Ouchie. Column B are those clips sent in by a soundcaster or listener, and this week we enjoy another hit off the Jock Doc Podcast as submitted by host Dr. London Smith. In unrelated news, I will be appearing as Guy Niçoise, a chef of reclaimed food products with a very bad French accent, on an upcoming episode of the Jock Doc Podcast a little later this month. This episode of Succotash, the Comedy Soundcast Soundcast, is brought to you by Henderson's Pants, makers of the patented Pain Pants, designed to help you lose weight quickly and painfully. Just before I get to the clips, I want to share some exciting news with you. We don't really have a great way to track how this show is doing in terms of ratings. With so many thousands of soundcasts in the world today, it's amazing that anyone can find us at all, quite frankly. But I got a note from someone named Carlos Tenor at a place called Pod Status, and I guess they track rankings of shows. He wanted to let me, and by extension you, know that Succotash is ranked number 200 in the category of comedy interviews on Apple Podcasts in China, and 241 in Germany's Apple Podcast rankings, also for comedy interviews, which we do probably once every 4 or 5 shows. So if you were dying to know how we're faring in those markets, boom, pretty much tastemakers and influencers in my book. With all that business bizzed, let's jump headlong into the clips. First up, Will Ferrell is back for his 4th season playing the title character in the Ron Burgundy Podcast. Ron Burgundy, the guy he made famous, of course, as the blustering, not very smart TV news anchorman in the movie entitled Anchorman. Along with his long-suffering sidekick, Carolina Barlow, Ron is ready to take on the world again, with commentary, interviews, and a mind that still doesn't quite seem to be all there. The new season kicked off just last week, and our clip is from the first episode, Ron Takes the Vaccine. Ron seems a little hesitant to actually get the shot.
Welcome back if you're just tuning in.
It's a podcast, not a radio show.
Well,
no one's just tuning in.
I've finally gotten that concept.
Really? It seems like we always
after all
bump
these
up
seasons.
against this.
I'm just, maybe they decided to fast forward and start in the middle of the podcast. That's what
Maybe. Okay.
It's within the realm of possibility.
So you were saying you actually have the COVID vaccine and you're preparing to take it live right here on the podcast. To
Yes, I
prove
do.
How safe it is. Now, is it Moderna, Pfizer, the Johnson & Johnson?
Well, it's actually the VIP one. Not a lot of people have heard of this brand.
Okay.
I
haven't.
It's made in a secret laboratory in the
Okay.
Marshall Islands, which is a U.S. protectorate. And it's a very VIP service. And it comes with also VIP bottle service. You have a choice of a bottle of champagne, vodka. You have to pay extra, but it's worth it. But what I'm trying to say is I realize I am very fortunate to have this VIP vaccine, and not everyone has access to it, which is really a shame. It's not fair, but I have it because I'm a celebrity, and I'm going to take it live right here, showing how safe and effective it is.
How safe and effective the secret vaccine from the Marshall
The
Islands
secret
is?
vaccine, which is a hybrid of all the other vaccines, so therefore it is symbolic of how safe the vaccination process is
All right.
as a whole.
I'm not loving this buildup, but let's just get to you taking it, and we can
But
discuss.
before we discuss
Okay.
the pandemic, let's discuss the Pam-demic. Folks, I don't know how to report this in a way that doesn't sound a little strange, but I assure you, everything I'm about to tell you is very real, underlined very mentally. And you deserve the truth. There are women named Pam all over the world who are disappearing, just vanishing into thin air. It's a scientific mystery. We are experiencing a true Pam-demic.
I'm going to treat this like it's normal and just say that I don't have any reports of missing Pams.
Well, that doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, you're probably too busy binging reruns of Friends or Sanford and Son in your pajamas to open up a damn newspaper.
I'm not binging episodes of Sanford and Son. And believe me, I have been staying informed every day. I watch the news every morning, and it's overwhelming. I'm filled with anxiety.
Right.
But not anxiety over missing Pams or Pamelas. There's no reports of women named Pam going missing.
Wait, but you've seen Sanford and Son, right? Because that's a very good show.
Yes, I've seen Sanford and Son.
Do you want to sing the theme to Sanford and Son with me right now?
You know, I'd really just like to.
Ba-ba-ba-da. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da.
Okay, stop.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da.
Stop with the period.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-do.
Please let's keep it going.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-da. Not until you sing the theme to Sanford and Son with me. Come on. Come on. People are going through hard times. Bring them a little joy.
Ba-ba-ba-da. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da.
My name is Sanford and I have a son and we run a junkyard.
Okay, you're
We
sitting
don't
here.
make a lot of dough, but we have a lot of love.
You're sitting.
Those were the lyrics they left out. I'm played by Red Fox. I'm a very foul-mouthed comedian, but I cleaned it up for the boob tube.
Okay, let's. You're sitting here with the VIP question mark.
Yes.
Coronavirus
No, not a
vaccine?
question mark.
It's news to our listeners that there is a secret, non-FDA.
VIP.
Okay,
Yes. FDA didn't have to look at it. Went straight to the marketplace.
I see.
If you could afford it.
I see the syringe.
Look
next
at the vial
to you.
here. There are flecks of gold bullion in it. Isn't
That
it
doesn't
beautiful?
seem.
It's beautiful. I hope it's not the liqueur Goldschlager. Well,
And what's the other syringe next to you?
oh, that's Botox.
Okay.
Well, it's a filler.
All right. So I didn't know you do Botox.
No, it's for you. For that saggy jawline of yours. Happy birthday.
I don't have. I mean, I'm not vain, but I don't have. I have
Now-
actually.
This syringe over here in this drawer is the vaccine, and I will be taking it live on the air in just a few moments. I should note this is a special celebrity edition of the vaccine.
We get it. We
as we've
can't
said.
take it.
And you have to be a celebrity to get it. Yeah.
A little later in that episode, Ron gives himself an injection, and there are some weird side effects. I really like this show. It's well written, funny, and it has Will Ferrell every episode. Now, another guy that consistently makes me laugh is JB Smoove, whether he's on Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David, or guesting on a talk show, or just spouting words of wisdom. And that's what he's doing now, 5 days a week, on his brand new soundcast, May I Elaborate? Joined by Michael Gross, who selects some tidbit of wisdom from various sources, mostly self-help enlightenment desk calendars, I think. Then JB breaks those philosophies down as only he can. Warning that the following clip is unbleeped and has some salty language for those unfamiliar with JB's style.
Welcome back to May I Elaborate, Daily Wisdom from JB Smoove. The quote we're looking at today is, "Be willing to be a beginner every single day."
I love this one, man.
Yeah.
You know, because I figure some of these quotes, they kind of coincide with my thinking, you know? And some things that I practice for myself. What this quote is saying is, by being a beginner, you are actually giving yourself permission to fuck up. Man. Nothing better than saying, oh shit, I ain't know what the fuck I was doing. My bad. You know, and that's a number one phrase they use, Miles, is my bad.
My bad.
My bad. That's you accepting responsibility for not knowing what the fuck you doing.
Well, it's better than people who don't know what they're doing and pretend to know what they're doing, so that makes sense.
Yeah, but then you're expecting someone to cut you some slack.
Yeah.
Man, I always love that. I always love that phrase, cut me some slack. You know, people always say that shit. Oh, come on, man. Cut me some slack. That means let the shit go. That means give me a break. Oh, man, Miles. I love that term. It's like this, Miles.
Yeah.
When I hear this quote, it's like motherfuckers who try to put IKEA shit together. They try to put the shit together, Miles, with no fucking directions.
Oh, that's impossible.
It's in the box.
Yeah.
But you take all the other shit out the box and you leave the directions in the box, Miles, like a dumbass. Because you know what? Because they think they are professional.
Right.
They learn real quick that they need to back their asses the fuck up, Miles.
Of course. That's a recipe for destruction.
You goddamn right. Yeah. And those fucking directions are in Swedish. Because IKEA is a Swedish-ass company.
Yeah, they have them in English. But yeah, the name of the item is usually like some sort of Swedish
Fuck
name.
yeah, you can't pronounce the fucking name of the item.
Yeah.
Shit. You know? Sure, the directions are in English, but you got to read what the fuck the shit's called.
Yeah.
Shit, man.
Like a Lars Hangrum dresser. Like
fuck
it's always,
yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love their dresses, man. Really fucking nice, man. I like the 4 drawers. You know, pull them motherfuckers out, put the shit in there, close it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a fucking puzzle. IKEA, like a fucking puzzle. See?
Let's see.
As a matter of fact, shit, maybe think about it. You should make IKEA your beginner apartment. So I did there, Miles? That's called a life hack, Miles. Hey, I love life hacks. And don't be afraid to do a life hack, people.
You say shop at IKEA for your beginner apartment because the stuff is inexpensive. Is that what you're saying?
Miles, look, you could live in a goddamn IKEA. Oh. If you fuck around and go in there an hour before they close, right?
Yeah.
Hide in the bathroom, okay, Miles? And you come the fuck out after that bitch closed. Miles, they got all kind of setups in that motherfucker. Every kind of setup. They got fucking living room setups and kitchen setups, all that kind of shit, man. Comfortable ass chairs, put your fucking feet up and shit.
Yeah.
You know? And then if the cameras do see you and they fucking catch you, you can say, hey, I was in the bathroom taking a shit and you guys closed up on me. See, Miles?
Yeah.
See? Now, while they're closed, you experience this whole shit. You go to that, see how the kitchen works, see how these beds feel, get comfy and shit. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe you and your girlfriend both stayed in that IKEA overnight. And then y'all get in one of those beds and y'all spoon. Are you a big spooner, Miles? Are you a big spooner?
Yeah. I mean, I like to.
Fuck that. You go to IKEA and you spoon in that motherfucker. Let's see how that bed feel before you buy that shit, see? Mm-hmm. This is an extended way of seeing if you like their shit, Miles. You know? Right. Shit, man.
So what will you survive on food-wise? I guess to eat the meatballs?
Fuck yeah, you do. They got plenty of fucking meatballs in there. Those Swedish meatballs. I love those Swedish ass meatballs. Shit. Nice size. You know, easy to digest. I love them, man.
There's a little dab of May I Elaborate with JB Smoove and Miles Gross. Those shows are already bite-sized soundcasts. They're like 15 minutes long, so they're perfect for just sort of clearing the palate between longer shows, perhaps, or if you just have a short trip to make in the car. All right, it's time for a commercial from our longtime sponsor, Henderson's Pants. Alternatively, it's time for you to hit the fast forward button and skip the next minute and a half.
Hello, friends. It's the summertime and the weather is fine. And if you're like most folks, you've been packing on the pounds. And why not? Beer, chips, summer cookouts, more beer, ice cream, deep-fried Twinkies with bacon. Yum, yum. If you're starting to blow up like the Michelin Man and self-control over what you shove down your neck is just a distant memory, it could be time to tug your way into a pair of Henderson's patented pain pants. Designed to fit no matter how chunky you may be, these amazingly well-engineered trousers are constructed to pull and tug and reel in all of that excess you with a few simple yanks, and you're instantly summertime svelte. Henderson's pain pants don't actually help you lose weight, of course. It's all just a delightful illusion. Like so much of life, a painful, delightful illusion. Those straps tend to cut deeply into your fatty tissues, and there's a real danger of cutting off circulation to some, if not all, of your extremities. But until that happens, damn, you'll look good. Originally designed for Orson Welles, Kirstie Alley, and the Beer Barrel Brothers of Baltimore, Henderson's pain pants are temporarily unavailable, awaiting safety certification by the American Medical Association. But they're available for pre-order right now, wherever merchants have a loose sense of doing the right thing. That's Henderson's, makers of torturous trousers since 1923, and now back to Succotash.
Another pretty new entry into Soundcast land is Comedy Has An Ouchie, hosted by Steve Hahn, Felicia McLeod, and Ashley Whitehurst, a trio of comedy improvisers with their roots in the Chicago scene. To this newer generation of performers, however, the system in the comedy world is rife with problems both on the surface and behind the scenes. Each episode, they kick around relevant topics and try to come up with some solutions. This clip is from their episode last week called Chicago is Where It's At, and they're right in the midst of the ideal comedy venue wish list.
What would our dream community center look like, for lack of better words? Or what would it be? Or what would it feel like?
I kind of would really like some type of like coffee shop, some like afternoon coffee shop where people can go, kind of like how we used to use, was it Whole Foods right across the street from IO?
Yeah.
Kind of like how we used to use that just to like,
oh, that Whole Foods, that was so
hang
overpriced,
out.
but we hung out so much there.
We hung out so much
I
there.
would love that. I would love a coffee shop that turns into a bar at like 9 or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's attached to one of these theaters that'll be opening up.
That's what they do here. Because like a lot of comedy theaters here, at least like when I visited a few years ago, didn't have liquor licenses. So like the UCB Sunset here like is like has a coffee shop in its lobby instead of a bar.
I like that. Yeah, because I think that comedy really gives us all a reason to abuse alcohol in a way. So it's like, as much as I enjoyed hanging out and drinking afterwards, it'd be nice if it's like, hey, we're in the afternoon and we're drinking coffee and communicating or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't drink for most of the time that I did improv in Chicago, so I would just like be drinking like spicy waters, Sprite.
I thought you meant like water with like black pepper in it.
It's the same thing. That's how Sprite's made, no?
Shake it up real hard.
Am I wrong? Hey, but I used to. That's what I'm saying. I used to not drink when I would like be at the bar. I would just like eat like, or I just like drink. I also used to not eat either while I was at the bar because I was not as smitten with the chicken tenders at IO as everyone else seems to be.
Everyone loved those.
They were just available. I feel like everyone was like,
good. That's how I feel like people treat like, that's how Chicago improvisers treat like people who are like not ugly. It's like you're just like that person's not hot. They're just like not.
They're just not ugly.
I can only name 2 hot improvisers, and I'm talking to them right now. Everyone else is fugly. Everyone else is fugly. Y'all fugly.
Damn.
Y'all are fugly. Not you two, like y'all isn't like the people listening. Listeners, you're fugly.
Meet him at the Bean on Sunday and tell him how you feel.
Yeah, we love you, but you're fugly.
Somebody had to tell the truth.
That's your truth. That's your truth. You know, that's you.
So no, like back to this whole thing is like my dream. So the IO building, if you put it somewhere else, super more accessible, the things you could do with that building, you could do a coffee shop in the basement, you could do a writer's lounge, you could do a podcast recordings. Like there are so many good things. And that's my dream, is to open up a space like that where it's just like people get to bump into each other and they're like, oh my gosh, hey, I've got an idea, like a bookstore?
Yeah.
Like a bookstore, yeah.
Y'all want to build a WeWork. Y'all want to build a comedy WeWork.
We're trying to be problematic. Yes.
Y'all want to build a comedy WeWork is what I'm hearing.
We are creating the next big scam. You're right.
As a longtime improviser myself, this soundcast is meat and potatoes, but I imagine some folks might not be able to relate. It's a fascinating look into the improv comedy mindset of today. That's Comedy Has An Ouchie. Our final clip of the show comes from the Jock Doc Podcast. Literally. Host Dr. London Smith sent along a clip from a recent episode, along with this note. Sorry the file isn't in simple audio format, but my co-host sent me this brief moment from this week's episode today in group chat, and it was short enough that I think it might be a nice goodie for Succotash. Love it, Doc. Thanks for thinking of us. And we can convert pretty much any audio format into the thin, tinny-sounding show that you're listening to right now. He goes on, the Jock Doc Podcast is an improvised comedy with the premise of being a medical education podcast. Listeners can find us at all major podcast platforms or just find links at jockdocpodcast.com. Thanks, drlondonsmith.com. All right, well, let's give a listen.
I am so excited to be here today.
Great.
And Cameron, can I just say you have one of the most sexy voices I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I mean,
do you practice that?
No,
or?
I mean, I obviously the sexiest voice on this podcast is DJ Dylan's.
Yes.
And I don't want to take that away from him, but it's really nice of you to pretend that mine is sexier.
I'm not pretending. No, I'm seriously sitting here.
No, we're going to get into legal trouble here if we keep doing that because it really is DJ Dylan's voice.
Well, yes.
I just have to say, it's just absolutely gorgeous.
If we don't continuously sort of affirm how hot DJ Dylan is, he edits
really
the podcast
well
into nonsense.
Okay, well, DJ Dylan, if you're listening, I am sure Okay, well, DJ Dylan, if you're listening, you have one of the most sexy voices I've ever heard in my life. DJ Dylan voices, most sexy, DJ Dylan voices, most sexy, DJ Dylan, DJ Dylan, DJ Dylan, DJ Dylan, DJ Dylan voices, most sexy, DJ Dylan voices, most sexy,
DJ Dylan voices, most sexy.
Yeah, well, and no, he is in the corner there, DJing this as we speak. So I don't want to be. There's the imminent threat of we don't want to cross him. We've never done it. And I'm just so scared of what could happen if
he's going to scramble the episodes. We know exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah. He's threatened, and it's in the contract, and it's why it's been smooth sailing so far. So, Mr. O'Donnell, I don't want to be, but if we could just, I love the flattery, but keep it aimed at the right place because a lot is on the line here.
But I thank you though. I really appreciate it. It's a good compliment.
Don't accept it. You don't accept it.
No, I don't, because it's not real and it's fake, Dylan.
DJ Dylan voices, most sexy.
In any case,
anyway,
some editing problems there on purpose. I'm not sure who the guest is on that show. That was not included in Doc Smith's note, but you get the idea. I think it's from a recent episode. As I mentioned earlier, I was invited on the Jock Doc podcast, and that episode should drop before the month is out. And I had a lot of fun with those guys. So I'll feature a little clip when that comes out and let you know when it's up. How about that? Is that it?
No, there's more.
Oh, we're not done yet?
You gotta do the thing.
That's right. It's Tweet Sack time. I scraped up mentions of Succotash on the socials, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook mostly. And here's where I do a rundown of those folks. The bag, however, feels pretty light this week. That doesn't make any of these lovely folks any less special. Mike Valdes, Jeff Zimmerman, Kara McGurk Allison, Laura Saner, Jeff Hyde, Erica, This Machine Kills Fascists, Josh Sneed, Becca James, Ewan Godfried, Nicole Villela, Eileen Mary O'Connell, Joe Cabello, Screams and Moans, and Podcast Army. That's it, friend. Dunzo. At least for this installment of the Comedy Soundcast Soundcast. Tyson's back next week with more Soundcast Clip fun, and I might do an interview the week after that, considering how well this show is regarded in the comedy interview field in both China and Germany. In the meantime, if anyone should happen to ask if you've heard anything good lately, feel free to pass the succotash.
You've been listening to Succotash, the Comedy Soundcast Soundcast, with your host, Marc Hershon. Brought to you by Henderson's Pants and...
Imagine your company's name right here.
Rate us and review us at Apple and Google Podcasts. Find us on the web at succotashshow.com, on Spotify, on Stitcher, on iHeart Radio, on YouTube,
On SoundCloud.
and wherever fine soundcasts are streamed and or downloaded. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Succotash Show. Like us on Facebook. Email us at marc@succotashshow.com. Or call into the Succotash Skype line at our toll call number 818-921-7212.
That number again is 818-921-7212.
You can also upload clips from your favorite comedy soundcasts directly to us using our direct upload link at hightail.com/u/succotash. Succotash is produced and engineered by Joe Paulino through the auspices of Studio P Sausalito, the home of the hit. Our hosts are Marc Hershon and Tyson Saner. Our musical director is
Scott Carvey.
Our booth assistant is
Kenny Durges.
Succotash is executive produced by Marc Hershon. Until next time, I'm your loyal booth announcer, Bill Haywatt, reminding you to please pass the succotash. Goodbye. This has been a Succotash Patch production.